Yeah, I was ready, they didn't have my back. They was petty, I stayed in my bed. On that petty, I brought it right back.
Oh man, as you can see by the title, this one's fun to get very, very spicy. I hope everybody is blessed, well, healthy, and that nothing but the best is going on in all you beautiful people's life. My brothers and sisters, my beautiful patriots, beautiful people around the world. Make sure you drop a like on the video. Watch it all the way through because this one's going to be, oh man. The original link will be in the description box down below. And shout out to Julie for sending this one over and also sending over a huge kind donation to the channel. Always showing me love in the Cash App. But man, oh man. Let's check this out, you guys.
Now to the fast food sticker shock in California after the minimum wage for workers out west was raised. Our chief business correspondent Rebecca Jarvis is here with the details. Good morning, Rebecca.
Good morning to you, Lindsay. Yeah, I am hearing from customers every day who say they are already feeling that sticker shock. Restaurants have been warning about this since September when California voted to increase large fast food chains' minimum wage by 25% from $16 to $20 an hour. In that time, restaurants in the state have increased prices by 10% faster than all other states, according to Data Essential. The wage increase is meant to give more financial security to the more than 500,000 people who work in fast food restaurants in California and are not teenagers but adults working to support their families. The California Restaurant Association says the price hikes were entirely predictable results of the minimum wage increase. Since it took effect, job losses, reduced working hours, restaurant closures, and higher prices for California's inflation-weary customers have been ongoing, the group said. And guys, this is something all the consumers who are facing it now are now facing a choice of whether or not to trade down. Many of them, I hear, are doing just that, spending less because they have to spend more. Gio?
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Rebecca, thank you so much.
All right, guys, so I feel like I've been talking about a lot of economics today, and lo and behold, we have another economics video, which, I mean, hey, I guess this is just the topic for today, but you guys are going to love this one, okay, because we have another progressive economic backfire, right? I mean, it's just amazing to me how these people have to experience the consequences of the policies they support to realize that the policies they support are bad, and...
Oh, man. And before we continue the video, you guys, I want to just wish nothing but the best in you guys' life, man. Happiness, joy, smiles, you know, laughter, pay raises, salary increases, bonuses, upgrades. That you get to live the life that you deserve in this very, very, very fast time travel that we live in, man. People are struggling at an all-time high right now, you guys. An all-time high. Depression, anxiety, suicide rates are at an all-time high. So I encourage you to spread the love to one another, man. And just know that your boy Rick is wishing the best in all you guys' life, man. Again, that you just wake up with another blessing, you know, a pay raise, an increase. You know, whether that's your job, your business, or whatever you do for a living. I wish retirement early on all you guys. Retirement early on all of you. We don't see color. I don't care what your skin color is. We all bleed the same. I don't care what your age is. I don't care where you're from. I'm wishing the best in all you guys' life. Your kids' life, man.
One of the backfires that we have to talk about today is the increase in minimum wage for delivery drivers out in Seattle. Now, we've talked a lot about the effect of increasing the minimum wage for fast food workers out in California. As you guys can see, that is a disaster, okay? The price of food, fast food, is rising exponentially in that state, which, you know, hey, could be a good thing because demand is dropping, right? Less people are buying fast food. They're having to make the trade-off between getting fast food for a higher price or just cooking at home and saving money. And hopefully more people opt to cook at home, and maybe, just maybe, we can do something about the obesity crisis in this country, okay? But, you know,
it's all right, y'all. I know some of y'all, it feel good when it comes straight to the dough, don't it? It feel good when them French fries and that old juicy burger with that grease falling off of there, with all that extra cheese and onions you done added onto it, onions. You know what I'm saying? When that pizza, grease slash through the box, and that pizza, man, it be good, don't it, y'all? Oh man, when it comes straight to the dough, man, straight to the dough, man.
What is happening in California is a lot of job losses, prices are increasing, businesses are shutting down as a result of the massive increase in minimum wage, which was extremely predictable for those of us who took Econ 101, right? Not in college, but in high school, okay? I mean, I'm just saying. So like I stated, we have to talk about another minimum wage backfire here involving delivery drivers out in Seattle. And this is an absolute disaster because there was a city council ordinance that was passed in 2022 called the Pay Up Ordinance, okay? And this legislative package was an extremely complicated way of bringing the minimum wage for delivery drivers to about $26 an hour, okay? Now, I'm not going to go over how they calculate it. It's extremely complicated. But just understand that the result was viral news stories like, for example, $26 coffees, $32 sandwiches, and $35 Wingstop orders, in which taxes and new fees comprised nearly 30% of the total. And again, this happened because companies responded the way companies do when you have a massive increase in labor costs, which is to add fees to make up for the increase in cost. And again, the results were predictable because you have people who took to the internet to complain about the massive and ridiculous price of delivery in Seattle.
I don't know what is going on. Seattle passed a new law recently that is supposed to help delivery drivers by giving them a certain amount of money per miles driven. It's supposed to help them because people don't tip and they're not making a lot of money when this is like their full-time gig. And I don't think it's working. I've only seen one other person and they didn't have their stitches on, but I'll tag them, talking about how they're a driver and this is actually making them lose money. But let me show you what it is doing to the consumer, because we already know that these restaurants, and even good booming restaurants with lines out the door in Seattle, are closing because of rent, because of costs, etc. And as a foodie in Seattle and a lover of these small businesses and family-owned restaurants, I don't want to keep seeing them close because of their business. And I don't know how we can fix this if we have to call a representative, but let me show you what it is doing to the consumer side for food delivery. Okay, this is the Chinese place down the block from me. If I want to get food delivered, 4 items, a total of $56.16 with free no delivery fees, they are tacking on $21.44.
Man, somebody just come up in here and hit me upside the head with a stainless steel bat. Just come on up in here and hit me upside the head, because I don't know what I'm looking at.
In fees. So my $56 order for my family of 3, whatever, is now $77.60. That is ridiculous. And what I've heard, it is not helping the drivers. They are not getting this extra money. It is hindering the consumer, because who the fuck is going to pay that? I am a lazy bitch. And now, when I want food, I am walking and picking it up, because this is ridiculous. And it makes me sad, because there are so many restaurants that I want to eat at that are around Seattle that aren't that far, but I don't want to go. I want to get that shit delivered. But I'm not paying this much money for 4 fucking items of American Chinese food, okay?
Yeah, so we actually have some numbers behind the losses that are occurring for the businesses, for the drivers, and for the app delivery companies, okay? I mean, this is a net negative across the board, and I'm going to go into some of those numbers because they're staggering. But first, I want to play a news clip so you guys get a better understanding of what's going on here. But just understand that before all of this, the drivers were already getting paid about $20 an hour before the government stepped in and messed it up, right? Because the government, when they step in, they tend to not make things better. They tend to make it worse. And this is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. So now Seattle, they're panicking. The city council committee, they're trying to now revise this controversial minimum wage increase in order to get it back down to basically where it was when you were relying on the free market, which was $20 an hour. So without further ado, let's get to it.
Pay requirements for app-based delivery drivers in Seattle could soon change. A city council committee is now looking to revise the controversial gig worker ordinance. They hope the changes will better support local businesses and drivers. KOMO's Jackie Kent is live tonight with the details and has reaction from impacted drivers. Jackie.
There was more than an hour and a half of heated public comment on this topic at that committee meeting. Some drivers are pushing back against any changes. They say the problem isn't with the city law, it's how the app companies respond to it. Cut fees, not wages. Seattle app-based drivers shared the message in front of a council committee as it considers revisions to the city's gig worker ordinance that's meant to ensure minimum wage paid by companies like DoorDash, Uber Eats.
Now, as a gig worker myself, you guys, most of y'all know if you watch my videos on my other channel, we've made a lot of money in the gig economy. And it got to the point where it got so terrible, especially over here where I live in Texas. You know, it doesn't make sense anymore. You know, and a lot of drivers went back to W-2s. Some are still out there, you know, but I've gotten to talk to some of them recently, and it's been terrible, man. Terrible. And salute to all the ones out there, man, risking their life every single day in their vehicles, on the road, you know. I'm wishing safe travels to all you guys, man. Safe travels to all the drivers out there. And also, we're wishing the best to the people in the food industry as well, too, you know. It's a hectic place, man. A hectic environment. And you want to ask me how I know? I've worked in it before. I've worked, you know, I've had, you know, Taco Bell jobs, burger restaurant jobs. I've had restaurant serving jobs, you know. I've worked it all, man. I have most of y'all know I have a huge resume. A huge resume, man. I probably did everything you could think of. I have a huge resume, man. You know. And not long ago, I got out the restaurant industry. It's been almost 2 years now since I left the restaurant industry. You know, I was a delivery driver / the manager too. It was crazy, man. It was crazy, y'all. And that was just like my side thing that I just loved. You know, I loved who I was working for, and it was nice to do. And then at some point, it takes a toll on you. And then you have to be, you know, you're not on your own time. You have to be on somebody else's time. And that's one reason why a lot of people sign up for these gig apps. 1099 and able to work whenever they feel like it, you know. But as we can see, a lot of people are also now, it's getting terrible. People are going right back to, you know, where they started from, and now a lot of people are chasing, back on the corporate ladder, and there's nothing wrong with that, you know. But this is one reason why I always wish you guys pay raises, salary increases, bonuses, upgrades, you know, that you get what you deserve, that you get what you want, you know. It's crazy out here, man. It really is. And we're going to call it out. You know, we're going to keep calling it out, man. And we're going to keep spreading love. Because there are millions of people dying right now chasing the American dream. Millions dying chasing the American dream.
Eats and Instacart.
Please reform this legislation. Don't wait.
Don't want to be the council that rolls back labor standards. Everyone is watching.
The proposed changes come as restaurants and app companies report major revenue losses due to fewer orders since the law took effect in January. That's also resulted in lost wages for drivers who spoke at council.
What would you do if your financial resources were cut in half overnight?
The revisions would drop the pay requirement for app-based workers to just under $20 an hour plus 35 cents per mile and tips.
The gross hourly rate is equal to the city's current minimum wage.
Others argue the problem lies not with the existing law, but with companies like DoorDash adding a $5 fee on every Seattle customer's order, the company says to make up for operating costs. Now DoorDash tells Como it would consider reducing that fee if this legislation passes. Council President Sarah Nelson said she feels a moral obligation to move forward with revisions quickly as businesses and drivers struggle.
Okay, yeah. So I want you guys to understand the greed of some of these workers. And yes, I'm saying that they're being greedy, okay? Because you're a delivery driver and you're not supposed to be trying to live off of the wages of being a delivery driver. It's just as silly as the fast food workers in California. It's just as silly as the Uber drivers slash Lyft drivers in Minneapolis. I did a video about that too, in which they're trying to implement a minimum wage for what are supposed to be contract workers, right? These people are not supposed to be receiving W-2s, okay? They're contract workers, okay? No, Democrats have said, no, we want to pay these people a minimum wage, okay? And that's just not how the business model of these apps are supposed to work. And when you throw a wrench in that, when you have government interference, you destroy the whole model. You destroy all the benefits that were created from these apps in the first place, right? And that's what you're saying happening in Seattle, because again, these people literally before this legislation was put into place, were getting paid $20 an hour, right? So if you probably did the app, if you got on the app at the right times where there's high demand, you probably made a decent amount of money. Again, considering how you are delivering food.
Yeah. And y'all know, if you watch my videos on my other channel, we was multi-apping or just in a good hour, you know. We're not even talking about we want to go to COVID times. Man, what were we seeing? $50, $60, $70 an hour sometimes, but we were easily hitting $30, $40 an hour around those 19 times, man. Sheesh. And hopefully they don't YouTube doesn't mess me for saying that you know, it's when you say you know, they always, it's crazy. But anyways, yeah, but easily over $30 an hour, $40 an hour. And now you go out there now, you're looking, some hours you might make 12, 10, 15, 20. You know, you just be hoping for 20, at least something over 20. But if we have any work people that still do you know, delivery or ride sharing, comment down below. How's it been for you? Again, I haven't done it in a while, but it was some of my best times, man. I actually had so much fun being a gig worker, man. It was the best time of my life, you know. But it just got real terrible and slow, and the pay just decreased. They want to send you to an airport trip for 50 miles for, you know, 20 some bucks, 30 some bucks, 50 some miles, $20, $30. You know, people are putting wear and tear on their vehicles. Some people are riding around in the electric vehicles, so they have to be real careful with their usage on the battery. You know, it's a lot that goes into it, man, that people just don't look at.
Okay, and I'm sorry, that doesn't require a lot of skills. This is coming from somebody who worked Uber. I was an Uber driver at one point in my life, and I also did DoorDash as well too for extra.
Yep. So we're both in the same boat, like I say, and I've done over 20-some thousand trips. I believe if we're calculating everything I did from the restaurant, working in the food industry, I did over 30,000 trips, y'all. Airport, picking up people at the hospital. I mean, you name it. I've even made my own side business of doing private trips, helping out veterans, helping out people in the community. Yeah, if you put everything together, I did over 30,000 trips, you know. And like I say, some of my best times.
Extra funds. But I never tried to rely on it as a full-time job. And see, what happens with a lot of these people is that when these apps first came out, you can make real good money. You can make better money on these apps than you could working, you know, some minimum wage job or whatever. And people started to rely on these jobs as their main source of income. And it was never meant to be that. Okay. So now fast forward where you have all these people that are reliant on these apps, these gig jobs for a career when it's not a career. Okay, being a delivery driver is not a career. I'm sorry. So you should not be getting paid career wages to do a side gig. Okay, it's a side gig. You should be thankful to be get paid $20 an hour. Okay, you get paid $20 an hour to do a part-time job where you can sign up to do it anytime that you want. That's a blessing. I'm just keeping it 100. So what you have here are people who are shocked and surprised that, hey, companies are going to try to make up for the increased cost that is being pushed on them by the government by raising fees, because companies are never just going to eat a sudden increase in the cost of labor and not try to make up for it some other way. Again, companies try to maintain profitability. That is the point of the existence of these companies.
Yeah, they just want profit. They can care less. They can care less if you go out in your car and drive off the bridge, they could care less if you pass away in your vehicle. At the end of the day, they're trying to make a profit, man. And that's one thing that me and a lot of homies realize, as you know, we've done over 20,000 some deliveries and ride sharing trips. You know, I encourage you guys to take care of yourself, man. Take care of yourself. You know, go out there, make the money, make it. You know. Again, like you say, side gig work is a blessing, man. To go out there and make. But again, you can still go out there now and have a good day, a really good day. You know, a good couple of hours. You might make $20, $30, $50 an hour. You know, but just expect that right now, it's over here and where I live, it's very, very slow. But you can still go out there and have some good hours still. Right now, in today's time, you can still go out and have some good hours and come home with a decent revenue. You got to set your goals, man. You know, so again, comment down below in your area, how has it been, if you still do it, if you do it, if it's like your side thing. And again, there's some people that do it full time, you know, because a lot of people have been ghosted and, you know, can't get, you know, are having a hard time starting a career. So some people just don't want a career. You know, that's a lot of things we miss too as well. Some people just don't want a career. So in today's time, man.
Companies is to make as much profit as they can. And I'm just saying that in exchange for that profit, you get the value in the service that is the delivery service in and of itself. And the pursuit of profit is why these apps exist, why this convenience exists, why these extra jobs exist. And I do think it's selfish when you come out here and you try to demand to get paid $26 an hour to do a job that, quite honestly, from a skill perspective, it's not worth that much money. It is what it is. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people be offended by it, but I'm just keeping it 100. Okay? And this is coming from somebody who did that job, right? I did that job at one point.
Sought a solution that will make the fee go away. There are national implications.
Now, again, everybody's tied to their own opinion. On this channel, I don't, you know, this is a reaction channel, so I'm just reacting, okay? But we're keeping it real, man. We're keeping it real. And again, we're wishing pay raises in all you guys' life. You know, no matter if you're a delivery driver, no matter if you're over here, you're over there, you know, we're wishing pay raises, increases, and hell, I hope whoever's go out today, that you go out and make $50, $70, $100 an hour, whatever it is, you know. again, me being a former driver myself, there were days where I literally busted my butt, man. And I came home smiling. You know, I used my Tesla, man. I put 100,000 miles on a Tesla Model 3. 2019, baby. Long range. Yeah. I put 80,000 miles on my Toyota. 80,000 miles on my Toyota. I had 2 vehicles working for me, man. Traded one in, got another one, worked hard, bust my butt. So I'm just speaking out of experience, you know. I have a, you know, even at a young age, I have a huge resume on me because, again, I've always wanted to work. I've always wanted to just figure things out, you know. And I also like to, you know, buy stuff too. Not too crazy. I'm you know, but, and I also like to give back to people, to be a blessing to people, you know. So I don't know. I think I've spent money on people. I've spent my money on people, more money on people than my actual self. You know. Just being honest, man.
That will ensue based on what happens here.
Longtime drivers like Kimberly Wolf say they want a seat at the table as conversations continue before a future vote.
What in your mind would be a better solution?
Something that specifically addresses the junk fees happening with the customer.
And looking ahead, a city council committee will review and vote on any amendments on May 9th before this legislation moves to a full council for a vote on May 21st.
Yeah, so again, I find it hilarious how they're trying to walk this back. And when you look at the numbers, the devastating numbers associated with this increase in the minimum wage, you can kind of see why. Like, for example, you had people deleting their delivery apps from their phones because it was like, why even have an app, right? If it's going to cost as much for delivery. Uber Eats experienced a 30% decline in order volume in the city. DoorDash reported 30,000 fewer orders within just 2 weeks. The first 2 weeks of this ordinance taking effect. For drivers, this decreased demand impacted their pocketbooks directly. For example, a driver who made $931 in a week during this time last year saw their earnings drop by half to $464.81. So their hourly wages went up. However, their take home dropped by more than half because they didn't have as many orders. Demand dropped so significantly that these drivers ended up making less money overall despite their hourly wages going up. Again, this is basic economics. Okay, this is something that somebody could have told you without passing this. But again, these people have to learn the hard way. I don't get it. I don't understand it. Why do you got to learn the hard way? Why do you got to learn the hard way? You already were consistently making $20 an hour, but you got greedy. You got greedy. You wanted more. Oh, we deserve 25. We deserve 30, $35 an hour. And you got exactly what you wanted. And now all of a sudden you ain't making money no more. Now you want to boo-hoo, whine, and cry about it and blame the company, right? And say, oh, well, it's their fault. It's their fault.
I never believed in that module. Like I always tell people, man, you know, you got to appreciate the fact that you can go online anytime you want and however much you make in hours, however much you make. You know, there were times when me and my homie, you know, he would call me and say, man, I just made $70 plus a $25 tip, man. You know, I just made almost $100 an hour, and I done made, you know, $12 this hour. I had a slow hour. He had a $100 hour. You know, and then sometimes I would call him and say, man, I just got a $50 tip, and then plus the, you know, the delivery fare and fee or whatever. And he said, oh man, I only made $16 this hour again. So that was over here in Texas, man, being a gig worker. You know, everybody's out. There's people out there right now, man. Somebody's having an amazing day. Somebody's just trying to get through the day. That's life. And that's why I want to wish the best on all you guys' life, man. Y'all comment down below what y'all think about this, about what's going on. And again, spread the love, man. Spread the love. We're going to be bringing you guys updates just around everything, man. So again, if you want me to react to something, send it over. Do not be afraid to email me. I love you guys, and I'm always wishing the best in you guys' life, man. We are living in some crazy, crazy times, man. And some people could care less if they wake up tomorrow. That's how bad things have gotten. They could care less if they wake up tomorrow. So I encourage you to spread the love. Check up on your loved ones. Hug them for me. A simple phone call, a simple text. I love y'all, man. Check up on your people. And I will catch you beautiful people in the next one. Peace and love, y'all.